25.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. While Rio de Janeiro may have gotten mixed press from the 2016 Olympics, it's still one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and the third largest city in South America. If you're more of the quiet, nerdy type rather than the adventure type, Rio has the largest library in Latin America, 8th largest in the world. Think of the book smell. Swoon.
24.
Istanbul, Turkey. It's really hard to sum up the reasons you should visit Istanbul, Turkey in a single blurb. Formerly known as Constantinople and Byzantium, sometimes called the gateway between the East and the West, the city has been around since 660 BC, so to say it has a rich history and culture is a gross understatement.
23.
Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon, the capital city of Portugal, is the oldest city in Western Europe. It predates London and Paris by quite a bit, and sits at the mouth of the Tagus River. Lisbon has nothing to prove to anyone. It's a bit unpolished and beautiful as is. Nearly every place in the city either has or is only a few steps from a breathtaking view.
22.
Florence, Italy. This city should be pretty high on any list of cities to eat in before you die. Yes, its beautiful and dreamlike Tuscan countryside has inspired artists for centuries. The wine is beyond description, and the city itself is romantic and everything Disney movies taught us to want growing up. But really, ask someone who's visited Florence how their trip was, and they'll mention the beauty and the food. After you eat, you can get lost in the beauty of Cattedrale di Santa Maria del Fiore.
21.
Normandy, France. This French city is best known in current generations as the place where Allied forces landed in 1944 to save the world. That's not hyperbole, they did. Normandy is also breathtakingly beautiful. Visiting the island monastery of Mont Saint-Michel alone is worth the trip, but there are also pebbly beaches, quiet villages, and some of the best medieval museums in France.
20.
Chefchaouen, Morocco. Jewish refugees who landed in Chefchaouen, Morocco in the 1930s painted it blue, and everyone liked it so much they rewash everything blue as a yearly tradition. Tucked up in the Rift Mountains is just this beautiful blue city that's almost surreal. Another interesting point of note is that the Chefchaouen region is one of the main producers of cannabis in Morocco, and subsequently, hashish is available nearly everywhere, if that's your thing.
19.
Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a beautiful port city that has a well-earned reputation for a lively nightlife, and it also gave us one of the most beloved foods the world over. Donuts were invented here. The city also boasts almost as many coffee shops as people, and a rich history including very well-preserved examples of architecture that are hundreds of years old.
18.
Cape Town, South Africa. The port city of Cape Town, South Africa has beaches with beautiful clear blue water, white sand, and penguins. Heck yeah! Also, it's home to Africa's version of Burning Man, Africa Burn, and has its own less crowded version of Bourbon Street, called Long Street. But if none of those are your fancy, you can take a cable car up above the city and enjoy breathtaking views of the water and Table Mountain.
17.
Bruges, Belgium. Walking around in Bruges is like walking around in a fairy tale. It's one of the best preserved medieval cities in the world, located in the very heart of Europe. The breathtaking Gothic and Baroque architecture are connected by cobbled lanes and a canal that can take you through the city.
16.
Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington boasts one of the most unique skylines in the world, thanks to the Space Needle, but it's also home to some amazing museums and a thriving local art and food scene. Local but varied, so many cultures find home in Seattle, as well as Pike Place Market, which is a huge tourist attraction with something for everyone and a small neighborhood feel. Also, coffee.
15.
Vatican City. Even if you don't believe in a higher power, the art in Vatican City may perhaps inspire you to dream of the divine. Vatican City is also considered to be the smallest country in the world, a city-state surrounded by Rome. It's also home to the Sistine Chapel, painted by Michelangelo himself in the early 1500s, which continues to have a huge influence on Western art today.
14.
St. Petersburg, Russia. St. Petersburg, Russia is a port city on the Baltic Sea. Built in the early 1700s, it's the realization of a dream by Peter the Great and remains the cultural center of Russia. The Hermitage Museum, the Winter Palace, and the Russian Ballet are just a short list of things that you must see in this great city.
13.
Kyoto, Japan. Located on the island of Honshu, and once the capital of Japan, Kyoto retains much of the rich cultural heritage from old Japan, and is a far cry from larger cities like Tokyo. Buddhist temples, Shinto shrines, and magical gardens define the beauty of this city, and you may even spot a modern geisha, as the traditional art is still practiced by some here. Surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, Kyoto is an excellent destination for hiking, or, for the less adventurous, wandering around a quiet path in a bamboo grove.
12.
Havana, Cuba. In 2016, Obama lifted travel and trade restrictions to Cuba, so if you have a wanderlust, Havana should be on your list of beautiful places to visit. Historic colonial buildings painted bright island colors, cigars, rum, and the island's obsession with classic American cars on a lush and verdant Caribbean island. Go before they build too many resorts. As of now, Havana has less than 100,000 hotel rooms.
11.
Salzburg, Austria. This Austrian city was made famous by the von Trapp family and is the birthplace of Mozart. Salzburg sits at the border of Germany and Austria and contains many medieval and Baroque period buildings in the old city, and on the other side of the Salzach River, which divides Salzburg, has more modern 19th century buildings. What people in the US consider historic is what's considered the new city in Salzburg.
10.
Buenos Aires, Argentina. Buenos Aires, Argentina is sometimes called the Paris of South America due largely to the architecture, but the city definitely has a South American vibe. The city is a shopper's dream, and restaurants offer food from every corner of the world.
9.
Prague, Czech Republic. Prague is known as the City of 100 Spires for the number of Gothic churches the city boasts. The capital of Czech Republic, Prague was once also the capital of the Kingdom of Bohemia, and has been the home to several Holy Roman Emperors. The city is so full of history, it has more than 10 major museums, as well as theater and other cultural attractions.
8.
Seville, Spain. Game of Thrones started filming in Seville, Spain in its 5th season. And if that's not enough to convince you that this city is breathtakingly beautiful, there's the world-famous flamenco dancers, one of the largest old towns in Europe, an interesting food scene revolving around tapas, and the Alcazar Castle Complex, which was built by the Moors.
7.
Washington, D.C. Aside from being the seat of power of the U.S., Washington, D.C. is also home to some of the best, and free, museums in the world, courtesy of the Smithsonian Institution, which also include the National Zoo, also free, historic monuments, and the National Arboretum, which contains not only an impressive collection of koi and bonsai, but the National Capitol columns, which are the original columns from the U.S. Capitol, set with a reflecting pool in the middle of a 20-acre meadow. Designed by Frenchman Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, Washington, D.C. is a breathtaking city that must be seen if one has the chance. Take the metro.
6.
Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland, and Scotland, for those who don't know, is home to the best whiskey distilleries in the world. Aside from that, though, Edinburgh boasts lovely countryside and medieval castles, as well as the Royal Botanical Garden, the National Museum of Scotland, and Old Town, as in pre-Renaissance old, which is a lovely place to take in a stroll and a pint.
5.
Budapest, Hungary. Budapest, Hungary is the nation's largest city. The River Danube runs right through the middle of it, and the city has over 1,000 hot springs to take a dip in at one of the many spas. It's also a food capital. It literally has a mall of food. Aside from that, there's the glorious historical buildings and great places of worship, in this case the Great Synagogue, that you can expect from this part of the world. It's also rather budget-friendly.
4.
San Francisco, California. San Francisco is a northern California city made of hills sitting on a peninsula surrounded by the San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. San Francisco offers a little bit of everything for everyone. There's the San Francisco Zoo, Alcatraz, Golden Gate Park, a huge urban park, many museums, and the Golden Gate Bridge, which is considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the modern world.
3.
Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is a charming city that beautifully displays some of the best the southern U.S. has to offer. Quaint and romantic, when General Sherman was burning, raping, and pillaging the South during the Civil War, he spared Savannah, which means the city retains a large amount of its antebellum architecture. Take a leisurely stroll down streets through sunlight dappled by towering oaks, have some soul food, or sit on a wide front porch at one of the many B&Bs sipping a mint julep.
2.
Lucerne, Switzerland. Lucerne is a small city in Switzerland that sits right on Lake Lucerne in the Swiss Alps. If you're someone who appreciates the beauty of snow-capped peaks, this may be your idea of heaven. This city also boasts a beautiful Jesuit Baroque-style church built in the mid-1600s, the Swiss Transportation Museum, the famous Lion Monument, the oldest covered bridge in Europe, and town walls with towers dating back to the 1300s.
1.
Mumbai, India. Mumbai, formerly called Bombay, is India's largest city and is home to too many beautiful things to see in one trip. The Gateway of India, many beautiful temples, Chor Bazaar, or Thieves' Market in English, black sand beaches, historic homes left from colonial rule, and breathtaking countryside and national parks. It's also a very modern city with a beautiful skyline. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.